So we have, listen, I don't know too much about Leafyishere, because he was from a time where I wasn't on YouTube, which was, could be any time really, because I was barely on YouTube. I'll move that. I got on here like a year ago, if that. Anyway, it's called From Horrible to Deplorable, Leafyishere story. I guess his name is Calvin Lee Vail. Very cool name. This is by Joon the King. Let's get this party started.
Lee Vail. Before he was Calvin Lee Vail.
Okay.
Before he was known for tearing down channels a fraction of his size as Leafyishere, he owned a Minecraft server that grossed over $100,000 before he hit his 20s. The stresses.
How do you make money on Minecraft? What? What does that even mean?
Of running the server were unexpectedly worse than any stress he incurred through YouTube. This, in a way, primed him for the immense growth his channel received. A channel that, for many, initially served as a window to the stranger and darker parts of YouTube. Leafy.
Is that all I have to do? Is all I have to do play Minecraft and I'll get famous? Is that it? Should I just play Minecraft and throw it up? Be like, hey guys, it's me, Papa God, I'm a fucking asshole.
Acted as a guide that spewed almost nothing but words of denouncement towards his subjects. From children to people with disabilities, Leafy attacked them all with little remorse. Growing faster.
Well, in his defense, children do deserve to be attacked. So, you know, you kind of have to be, like, understand that. You have to understand that, I think.
And faster with each one of his controversies, at his peak, Leafy seemed unstoppable. Though it was only poetic that the subjugation of constant ridicule that he brought upon others was also brought upon him through a single video that spread far and wide through YouTube.
Yeah, it seems like YouTube in like 2013 or 2015 and below was a horrible dog shit place. Like, that just seems to be what it was.
Back.
Many think this is what caused his initial downfall, but in actuality, there were hidden powers that brought on a slow and painful decline to his channel.
What? The Illuminati was going after Leafy?
That stopped posting in 2017. But to everyone's surprise, he came back.
What up, motherfuckers? Welcome back to a brand new video.
And when he came back strong in 2020 with a less caricaturized version of himself and received wide support. But these hidden powers had had enough of his antics.
What are the hidden powers? Why is this so fucking ominous?
And overnight, banned him without warning.
What?
A move that many content creators rallied against. But their outcries were ignored, as the banning...
Well, why? So, like, his content, previously, my understanding was like, really shitty. Like, just very, like, attacking people. Did he come back with the similar content, or would people just hate him so much they didn't want him to come back? Because, I mean, I am somebody who thinks that people can be reformed. So I would say it's shitty if somebody was like, hey, I'm a new bird. Don't clip my wings. You know what I'm saying? But I guess I don't know.
Leafy and similar content creators served as a clear message from YouTube that they can and will strip you from your channel if you give them bad publicity.
Oh, people are saying he came back and just did the same thing, just a little less vulgar, but it was still bullying. Okay, yeah, well, shit happens.
That is why this story...
I like this. YouTube's no longer a public forum with guaranteed free speech. I mean, like, yes. I mean, I you know, fundamentally, do we want some fucking Nazi coming on YouTube and starting saying... I'm not saying he is that. But fundamentally, like, we all agree that there are people who shouldn't be able to be on YouTube. It's just we're trying to draw the correct line, you know? He got banned for making videos about Pokemon. I think I vaguely remember that. Doesn't he just play, like, CSGO and do, like, what is it called? Surf?
Must be told. The story of the rise and fall of Leafyishere.
Suspenseful.
The story begins with the beginnings of Leafy's channel, which was created October 7, 2011 by a 16-year-old Calvin Lee Vail. Beyond the traditional roles a typical American teen takes,
all
like
these kids
high
get
school
fucking
or going to
famous,
parties,
bro. Jealous as hell,
Leafy,
bro.
while still partaking in these, was also learning to code using Java, a highly popular programming language that at the time was used for things as big as web browsers or as small as JRATs.
And for a lot of porn games on the internet.
As for what a JRAT is, the exact definition changes depending on who you ask. The J stands for
curious.
Java. Easy enough. The RAT can stand for Remote Access Tool, Remote Admin Tool, or Remote Access Trojan.
Okay.
Different definitions describing a similar virus. a virus that can be used to remotely access the infected computer by doing things such as implementing a keylogger that records keystrokes in order to steal passwords and all forms of personal data, which can see many malicious applications online. It is unknown for what purpose Leafy coded these. Perhaps to sell the code for monetary gain or to use the software for his own online attacks. Regardless of the intent, coding these helped Leafy sharpen his Java coding skills, and something else that ran on Java was the fast to popularized game taking the internet by storm: Minecraft. Like many players that knew how to code using Java, whether teens or full-grown adults began hosting their own Minecraft servers.
I thought he said weather teens, and I was confused.
Spending hundreds of dollars to launch them. A simple idea soured when it was discovered how much money people could make by monetizing their Minecraft servers. Keep in mind that this was far before Mojang started cracking down on servers that relied on a pay-to-win motto. As the motto suggests, it allowed the highest tier donators in any given server to dominate the rest of the players. Whether it was selling ranks that gave access.
Isn't it crazy that that's considered so morally reprehensible in Minecraft, but that's quite literally how most mobile games and other games operate nowadays? Like with these very predatory business tactics, especially things like loot boxes, it's very fucked.
To in-game equipment or commands, as Leafy referred to them, rich Dubai kids paid unbelievable amounts of money for items or even a plot of land in a populated area on the server.
Whoa,
so in reality,
cool.
It was not the average player that lined Leafy's wallet,
Damn.
but the rare wandering
Just another flaw of capitalism, bro.
rich Minecraft player that could expend a couple $1,000s like the average person buys a candy bar. But before that became a larger part of Leafy's life, he was still growing his YouTube channel, which mainly consisted of videos of him playing Minecraft. A typical Let's Play series, interchangeable with a sea of channels trying to start their own Minecraft Let's Plays. Leafy, understanding his situation and demotivated at the lack of views on his videos, was learning that getting an initial audience to watch his videos was one of the most difficult parts of growing his channel. So he formulated a plan that started with a 4 or so paragraph message that went along the lines of, "Hey big Minecraft YouTuber with a large following, I've been watching your videos since day one. Can I please get some advice on how to grow? Please check out my videos." That, of course, is a more dramatized example of his message that was sent out, possibly using a bot, to any Minecraft channel that Leafy could somehow get into contact with. He eventually saw the fruits of his labor when around late 2011, a Minecraft channel that goes by Static777 left a like on one of Leafy's videos.
Wow.
This small gesture
I don't know
had a
what it
big
is.
impact on Leafy's channel, as this in a way promoted his channel by allowing users of Static777 to look at his recent activity and also see that he liked Leafy's video, which led a small stream of curious viewers to Leafy's channel. This got
Is that how it
Leafy
works?
his first 50 subscribers, which was enough to get him the initial growth he sought.
Wait, he got him his first 50 subscribers. So are you saying that he had no subscribers before that? That's a little bizarre. Like, what if you ran a Minecraft server? Why not promote your Minecraft YouTube? Oh, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Leafy used his channel to heavily promote his Minecraft server by almost exclusively only making Let's Plays on it, which also, as his channel grew, meant that his server had around 20 active players at any given point. More viewers means more people on his server spending money. With some consistency, Leafy in 2012, with a slowly growing subscriber base, was invited to the YouTube Partner Program when he reached around 700 subscribers, meaning that he was now able to earn revenue from his videos.
Damn, dude. Now you gotta hit like 1,000 or 4,000 subscribers? I guess it's not that many.
Though it was still a very small amount considering his channel size and that he uploaded 1 to 3 Minecraft videos a week, gaining a little under 1,000 subscribers a month. He'd also try his hand at live streaming, but with little success. Still, he started making a bit of a name for himself and his Minecraft username, Leafyishere, as it was becoming somewhat recognizable within the player versus player or PvP servers he'd visit, sometimes making threats to disrupt someone's internet through a DDoS attack. This is where we get into the dark side of the cube.
This is one of those things, man, because I remember when I used to play games as a kid, I was so toxic. I'd play Dota 2. I was super competitive. And a bunch of us would just yell at each other, call us pieces of shit. So, like, it's one of those things where I'm happy that I was not on the internet back then, brother. Because, like, holy fuck, was I a toxic little dickhead.
Back then, Minecraft on the surface was an innocent game targeted at children and a way to express your creativity.
Oh,
Though
he's dead.
behind the scenes, people were still creative, but in much more malicious manners like the aforementioned DDoS attack, a practice common within the Minecraft server owner community. As servers started to become more successful and those running them could earn a livable wage, those left running these servers went through a trial of fire set by other server owners, where the new server owners found that they could survive by using the same malicious tactics that were applied against them. These tactics include, but are not limited to, doxing, where your identifying information was released to harass you beyond a computer. Extreme cases of doxing include anonymous calls where the harassers lie to the police stating that you are putting others in danger in order to get a SWAT team to raid your place of residence and possibly
Jesus
kill
Christ.
you.
Did he swat people?
DDoS attacks or denial of service attacks that temporarily shut down servers or the host internet connection. Hit squads. Server owners would pay several attackers to hunt down active players on a server and continually kill them until they quit out of frustration, effectively scamming a server's population. It should be noted that banning the raiding players was largely ineffective, as these people often had over 100 Minecraft accounts each. That means they'd switch between accounts. And
how would you get over 100 Minecraft? Oh, I guess they're paying for all the Minecraft accounts. That makes sense.
As their account in action was banned from a server. Another vicious tactic was domain nabbing. Whenever a server owner's domain was back on auction after their paid time with a said URL had expired, a competing server owner would immediately purchase it and have it redirect to their own website.
They would hack other people's accounts and then they would take them. That makes sense.
You owned previously was now instead promoting your competition that just nabbed your domain. And finally, in the most extreme cases, lawsuits, which will be later mentioned in the video. While the largest of servers were usually not messed with, it is unknown how much or often Leafy engaged in these tactics. But what is known is that all these tactics help scare away the smaller starting server owners, leaving those average-sized server owners to partake in these tactics in a constant competition where they'd attempt to one-up each other's hostilities. Sometimes they'd formulate alliances where a group of server owners were pit against another group and fling.
This just makes me feel like Minecraft is terrible. Like, I know they've cleaned it up a lot, especially since that like super racist guy or whatever that made it lost it, you know what I mean? Like, he lost control of it or whatever. But damn, man, fucking this shit's crazy.
Various insults at each other through TeamSpeak servers, which was also something Leafy took part in, starting at around 17 years old.
You know how much money I fucking make, bro?
0.
Damn, you are I got motherfuckers like this hiring me to take care of motherfuckers like you.
Making this one of the most stressful periods in his life, even more stressful than any future drama on YouTube.
Have my fucking
but it paid decently, with his server bringing in thousands of dollars a month in 2013. A fair portion of that money went to things like having his server promoted by other YouTubers. Many times he got free publicity by collaborating with another channel. After all, he now had a sizable Minecraft channel of his own, sitting at around 18,000 subscribers, though not all were keen to work with him, as Leafy still had many enemies, which is most likely how his channel got suspended for a short period of time, most likely due to people reporting the videos promoting his Minecraft server as a scam and having YouTube take them down. But Leafy eventually got his channel back up and had this to say.
I got suspended. It was just kind of like a mess up. I didn't break any rules, and I got my channel back. The day I found out that my channel was suspended, I was seriously like, you guys have no idea how nervous I was.
While Leafy hardly had control of people flagging his channel, those pestering him asking to be paid to stop their DDoS attacks is where a large portion of Leafy's earnings most likely went to. Along with paying an additional fee to have these online mercenaries.
It's like an online mafia, dude.
Person that contracted them originally. Leafy estimated that mid-sized server owners paid attackers on average $4,000 a month to avoid being targeted. Before Leafy invested in services like Voxility, he was a large target for these attacks. The stress of it all was notable in Leafy's vlogs that he started uploading around 2014, showing something as simple as a room tour and talking about what's going on in his life. The reason that hole in the wall exists is because of Drake. Not the Drake, but rather an anonymous lone wolf that formed no alliances that was also hated throughout the Minecraft server owner community. As for Drake's interactions with him, Drake began DDoSing Leafy's server, then requested $500 to stop the attack. When Leafy paid that, Drake responded with "thanks for the money" and continued his attack, which is when Leafy punched a hole in the wall and began a crusade to find Drake's true identity, but in the end was an unsuccessful venture which Leafy spent around $10,000 on. Though Drake was eventually unmasked by a highly influential server owner that even Leafy feared, who sued Drake and possibly landed him in jail. Interestingly enough, Leafy's anger towards Drake helped him more than he could ever imagine, as it inspired Kids Who DDoS, a comedic video where Leafy discusses DDoSing and the effects of it in various games, with mostly unrelated gameplay footage in the background.
Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to be talking about DDoSing.
This video highlights Leafy's new transition in content. Instead of focusing purely on Minecraft content, which was at a downward trend at this time, Leafy was branching out to various different games like League of Legends, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and various other games he showcased for a video or two. With few videos, the footage did coincide with the topic of the video, like when discussing his history with the game or the way he'd peruse unofficial gambling sites. Going forward, the footage of his gameplay usually added nothing but a colorful placeholder while he discussed what he needed to in his video. The most memorable and most used type of footage was from the online competitive game Counter-Strike Global Offensive. However, it was not traditional gameplay. He was instead playing on community-made surfing maps where the objective was to glide down or through a map. Yeah, surf maps. They just call them surf maps. I used to play that shit all the time, man. That was pretty cool. It's pretty fun. You know, that's where you meet some fun friends. It's so interesting where there's a lot of games like Counter-Strike where it's more fun to play the game the wrong way than it is to play the game the right way.
Because sometimes you just get burnt out on how fucking competitive some of that shit is, you know?
using the momentum gained from gliding on rails of angled surfaces while avoiding the hazards throughout the map, while telling a story.
This is just so weird. Like, this guy's... No criticism of this guy. Very informative. But, like, the way he's breaking down what a surf map is, it seems like... It just seems so extra to me, you know?
With unrelated attached gameplay footage dates back to even the earliest days of YouTube. CSGO surfing was simple and easy to follow gameplay that Leafy had laid domain over. The topics discussed in these surfing videos ranged widely. Sometimes he talked about a personal story, which is something that Leafy excelled in, because you can direct an extremely well-made video with fancy graphics and invest a good chunk of money into using copyrighted music. But if the writing is terrible or the delivery is poor, then it usually flops, which in reality, he only needed decent writing and good delivery to make his stories interesting. When Leafy told a story, he'd always blow them up and make them feel larger than they truly were, while still correcting himself and trying to keep things in the realm of reality. The same could be said about his content discussing popular internet videos or stereotypes of players that he derogatorily deemed as kids, not because they were kids, but because he called them that to insult their maturity. Referring back to Leafy's timeline on YouTube, while he was still experimenting with other forms of content, now entering 2015, Minecraft videos still took priority. His experimentation into different styles of videos brought interesting results. Take note of his ZOMG series. While the Wayback Machine did not save the thumbnails, the titles themselves clue us in enough as to what the videos are about, as it highlights his ascension towards clickbait-style videos using keywords such as best, unbelievable, rage.
Are those like keywords? If they use best head in the game, like something like that, would that be like something that would pull people into my content, you know?
Most epic. If you look at these sets of videos and compare them to his traditional Minecraft content that was posted around the same time, it is obvious there is a clear winner. It also helped that his new style of videos were self-contained, meaning that he did not...
Should I start making clickbait? Like, hey, biggest, sexiest fat guy in ever. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that.
Follow an obvious episodic format, and they were easier to consume. People stopping by his channel when all he made were Minecraft videos were less likely to consume his content because of the sheer exhaustion it would take to catch up to episode 86. So these self-contained videos allowed viewers to get an easy taste of Leafy and grow individually through different parts.
That's why I didn't watch the 60,000 part series on fucking Chris Chan, because it seemed almost like a little redundant to me. Oh, he's mid, okay.
YouTube being suggested next to whatever popular or relatively unknown thing he was talking about. A big part of his new content was the personification of it, which was exemplified in his vlogs. It's easy enough to make a YouTube channel and add a text-to-speech bot in place of a real voice discussing whatever topic you'd like, but you never see these channels gain an actual following. A voice provides a unique aspect to a person that can hardly be replicated. So a vlog in your room thanking your viewers for getting you to 23,000 subscribers makes you less anonymous and more of a person. It makes you more memorable, and does that much to set you apart from the channels with no tangible human touch. To sum it up, the more unique and tangible you make yourself online, the faster of a following you'll get, which was being reflected.
Dude, so far this is like a how to become famous on YouTube fucking video. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Through Leafy's subcount. As for his Minecraft server, he was still developing it and adding new aspects and servers that serve different purposes. Trailers and other people interacting with him and his server still exist on YouTube today. But this era of Leafy is mostly forgotten, as the waves of influence that began striking YouTube overpowered much of his history, starting with videos like Kids at DDoS, along with rants like I Hate Google+, which was the popular opinion at the time. But Kids at DDoS' sudden jump from thousands of views to nearly a million set a clear path to Leafy's success. So if there was any point in time that pinpointed Leafy's rise, it was during April of 2015. Due to his nearly daily uploads and new style of content in that month alone, he doubled in views. In May, another jump of 80,000 plus views. Then in June, he went from getting around 200,000 views a month to 800,000 views, which doubled again in July, quadrupled in August, and so on. It should be noted that Leafy's content at this time was focused on stereotypes in gaming, discussing the various annoying types of people he met through his time online. Though these followed an episodic theme, they were largely detached from one another. There was really no one target in these videos, just a broad range of personalities that he and his growing viewer
So basically he just bullied people he didn't like, is that what we're saying?
base found annoying, often accompanied with commentary from his friend that went by Quirky. An interesting side note is that these videos were uploaded through the Wi-Fi of a local coffee shop because his internet back home was so poor. As for his channel, naturally with the large amount of views he was getting, he was also receiving a big jump in subscribers, hitting 100,000 in August of 2015, and rewarded his fans with a face reveal.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Leafy Beefy with his face cam on.
While his face did apply more personality
that was a bad flash.
brand, there was something more influential developing in August of 2015. The origins of this development can be traced back to a small joke made in Leafy's video, Kids at YouTube 2. From this video, the Reptilian Brotherhood was birthed, with fans making art of Leafy as a reptilian, which Leafy responded to about a week and a half later with a video titled Reptilians. In the description, he uttered their most famous phrase, hiss. Going forward, many of Leafy's videos
I guess at
were
least he
spammed
took
with
a joke.
phrase. As for Leafy himself, following his increasing success on YouTube, started traveling. First to PAX Prime in 2015, which he received free tickets for, then to Amsterdam, London, and various other...
Damn, it's crazy. They give you free shit if you had 100,000? Fuck. Well, that's probably because YouTube wasn't as popular back then.
places across Europe in September of 2015. His content now delving into stories about his use of various substances, many of which are illegal for consumption inside the United States. And while Leafy was touring Europe, his audience set it upon themselves to spread his likeness around the globe as well, starting when Leafy mentioned a CSGO content creator Anomaly in one of his videos. This mere mention prompted Leafy's growing fanbase to spam his chat with hisses. And when Anomaly turned sub mode on, so only Anomaly subscribers could chat in his livestream, they hissed as well. When asked about the origins of the hissing, viewers pointed out it came from Leafy's channel. This soon spread to other CSGO YouTubers that were having their comment sections spammed with hisses. On October 11th, at the end of a video discussing teachers that take their job too seriously, Leafy discussed the Anomaly hiss raid, saying that he found it funny, which in no doubt encouraged his viewers to replicate this behavior towards other content creators, and so they did. There were few bastions that Leafy's fans did penetrate. The Reptilian Army's copy pastas could be found in the most innocent cooking videos to a random Watch Mojo countdown. This situation was brought to light by Leafy yet again 2 days later, which only intensified the amount of hissing. Shortly after this video was posted, the situation was covered on Drama Alert. Through this massive campaign, many large and small content creators now became aware of Leafy, which opened many paths to friendship, like eventually befriending other commentary channels like H3H3 Productions, Pyrocynical, and even entertainment news channels.
Really? He was friends with H3? Okay.
Like Drama Alert.
Was he making super toxic content at this point, or no? It sounds like some of it was kind of toxic. It's interesting.
Many of their viewers also became aware of Leafy and joined in on the hissing, feeding his channel more subscribers. It's safe to say that many content creators jumped on the bandwagon, but in large part due to the relentless spamming, Leafy started to make few enemies while also developing the obvious raid tactic towards anyone he'd mention in his videos. Even those that Leafy slightly alluded towards were not safe from his rampant fans. As at this point in time, Leafy, when talking about YouTubers or mannerisms that annoyed him, kept the YouTubers he was talking about anonymous, describing their actions instead to paint a picture of who he was talking about without of course revealing their identity. Sometimes he was too descriptive and talked about a rather hard to watch video of a high school student screaming, "Do the Harlem Shake" in a high school cafeteria. 2 days later, this video was then followed by another video where Leafy discussed how his viewers brigaded the video Leafy mentioned, prompting a response from the person in the video that Leafy mentioned. This was one of, if not the first instance, where Leafy addressed someone else directly instead of only talking about their actions. After all, this person did make a response video towards Leafy. Beyond that, for the month of November, he continued his standard content of storytelling and a few gameplay-based videos. But it was clear that this was not the optimal way to grow his channel, as he was going through a few dips in views. This all changed November 28th, as this day defined what many remember to be Leafy's definitive form of content. And that is, discussing and ridiculing other content creators for a single video or their actions spread across several videos. But because who he was targeting at this point in time, he was still getting a lot of support, as the video uploaded on November 28, 2015 was discussing a YouTuber that goes by Lispy Jimmy, a relatively disliked member of the YouTube community. The following day, he talked about Bertgasm, another infamous figure that was specifically known for creating mature or rather extremely inappropriate content for anyone under the theme of Minecraft videos made for children.
These are his top videos. Fucking this, dude, who does this? Reaper Escape? What the fuck?
The next day, he did a video on Sandpepper and so on. In December, he mixed in a few of these videos along with his usual stories, but the success of these videos was clear. 4 out of 5 of these videos are directly discussing another content creator, and they're growing.
I mean, it seems like at this point people would be like on his side, because I know like Sandpepper wasn't a particularly palatable figure and whatnot.
Faster than any other form of his content. This video that he uploaded in December is already nearly doing better than one of his most popular videos that has been on his channel since late 2014. The clear path of success is to make more of these, which is exactly what he started to do in January of 2016. A bit of analysis as to why these videos were so popular is that they usually hit controversial figures that were currently being discussed around YouTube, meaning that YouTube recommended it to more people discussing the same topic. And building on top of that is that Leafy, with his comments and opinions, sometimes made his own drama that was regularly featured on other channels like Drama Alert, giving him more publicity and growing his channel faster than he'd ever seen. As just 4 months ago, he was at 100,000 subscribers. Now, he was almost at 1 million. But not everyone he talked about had a massive following, as he was branching out to all sorts of strange or controversial figures that inhabited YouTube. Some of these figures had less than 100 subscribers that, whether satirical or not, actions were being showcased to nearly 1 million of Leafy's followers. From furries to children in Minecraft, Leafy covered it all. And on the topic of Minecraft, it seems that he detached himself from the server that he was running, possibly because of the stress, him making significantly more money on YouTube, or the fact that Mojang was cracking down on pay-to-win servers like Leafy's. This all meant that he had no intention of owning a server. As for what happened to Para PvP, it seems to have closed down late 2016 due to lack of donations. But back to the topic at hand, Leafy was on a roll making videos about the strange people of YouTube. Videos meaning not only just describing the variety of people he'd cover, but also the amount of times he'd cover any one figure. Take for example Mr. Black Darkness 666, a unconventional content creator that made a video describing and showing how he lives in a small town and how children at his local park are bullying him. Leafy, alongside
I remember just seeing that video specifically. Okay.
Comedic remarks about the fact that literal children are bullying him and that Mr. Black Darkness told the children to go fuck themselves, give a few words of advice, knowing that there was an off chance that Mr. Black Darkness was going to watch this video. And oh, he did. In reaction to Leafy's video on him, Mr. Black Darkness, in response, almost immediately made a video on Leafy titled, "Leafyishere, go fuck yourself."
This Leafy fuckwad, I'm gonna make sure you burn.
What
you
the
little
fuck?
Asshole.
Showing an unhinged Mr. Black Darkness with running mascara, consuming alcohol, responding to Leafy's video, saying he'll get what's coming to him. This led to a short series of response videos where Mr. Black Darkness performs a curse on Leafy, seemingly in a speedo because, according to him, you have to be as naked as possible to allow the dark spirits to flow through you. Leafy
I mean, makes sense to me.
You know, on him and plays on Mr. Black Darkness through Microsoft Paint.
Oh God, Lucifer, hear my plea.
What the fuck?
Oh God, Lucifer, hear my plead. Holy shit, he's fucking bleeding from this, dude. This is like actually a proper fucking satanic ritual.
Hey, I guess these dark forces actually did work. I mean, because Leafy's channel is gone now, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it must have worked. This guy's gonna get
He just
nay-nayed.
fucking ate me, dude. What the fuck?
While there were a few follow-up videos made on both sides, the situation eventually came to a close on Drama Alert on January 30th, 2016, where a discussion was done with Keemstar as the mediator.
Let's get roll.
Why can't you just make another video telling them to fucking calm down? And
that's exactly what I was talking about with me and Pyro. We were thinking about making a video talking about satire content and how we make videos about people, but again, it's just parody.
It seems that Mr. Black Darkness did eventually lift the curse. Remaining on topic of the discussion, it was later revealed by Leafy himself that he lied about making follow-up videos with his fellow content creator friend Pyrocynical, telling his audience not to harass the topics of his video.
Didn't Pyrocynical do some weird shit with, like, furry fart sexted or something?
I don't know. The most visible thing Leafy had done to deter harassment, that was not even implemented until a couple months later, is add this section to his video description discouraging his fans to not go on witch hunts. But even then, it was hardly a deterrence.
It's interesting because I've seen so many documentaries about so many people on YouTube, and every one of them has had an interaction with Keemstar. And it seems like there was a time where Drama Alert would actually talk about, you know, bigger scandalous types of things on YouTube, where people would like talk it out and whatnot, like, you know, Leafy and this fucking person here and whatnot. And now it just seems to just be talking about like bullshit, you know, like just bullshit. Like just sitting here, oh, Jake Paul farted really hard. Is his asshole full of shit? Like that kind of thing, you know?
In fact, the lack of a deterrence is what caused his first large-scale controversy and potentially started his downfall. You see, Leafy used to get much of his content from the r/cringe subreddit, where he'd find all sorts of difficult-to-watch but easy-to-dissect videos. That's when he came across this video about a man in a fedora who noticed that a woman had left her container of freshly purchased eggs on top of her car and was about to drive out of the grocery store parking lot.
She was pulling out and I handed her eggs. Isn't that right, ma'am?
It is, thank you. I didn't realize I put eggs on top of the car. I appreciate that very much.
Tommy NC 2010. This guy flagged her down and prevented the eggs from falling off. It was a good deed that made him want to start recording and encourage others to do the same thing. So he asked the woman if he could make a video with her, and she agreed, which is how this video was made. There is an obvious tension of awkwardness in the video between Tommy and the people he helped because his speech of doing good things is so drawn out. But that may have not been apparent to Tommy because, as we know now, he is autistic, and social situations may be different for him. As it stands, his motive—
I mean, not to be an asshole, but like listening to him talk, I could tell that like there's something, you know, I guess you could call it atypical about him. No, not a criticism, but feel like we should have all known at that point.
Were good, and he did help someone.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Regardless, he gained a bit of notoriety through this video, appearing on television through Tosh.0, where the host also made comedic remarks at Tommy's video while inviting him to be on the show to take part in some skits. Leafy, most likely knowing a good amount of this information, set out to make a video ridiculing Tommy a bit worse than Tosh did. The major difference is Tosh's audience mostly consume television and are largely uninteractive. But Leafy's audience is on the same platform as
like they're watching it in like a comedic sense where they're enjoying like the comedy aspect of it, whereas fucking what's his face is more like his audience is more and fuck you, dude. I wanted to steal your kill. Whereas Leafy's audience is very interactive and like actually wants to fucking deplatform people that speak against their king, you know? So
Tommy's, and are well known for brigading videos that Leafy discusses. At this point, it was already established that Leafy had a way more active audience, for better or for worse, than the average YouTuber. So after Leafy made this video, Tommy's video was bombarded with dislikes, and comment section was littered with the typical comments of hiss and KYS, meaning kill yourself, leading Tommy to almost immediately post this video as a response.
I'm having a difficult time right now, because some people are threatening my life, threatening my family, and all I wanted to do was inspire people.
This enraged many people, enough so that it blew up on r/videos and started what was known as Memegate. One of the people annoyed at Leafy was H3H3, a friend, or now ex-friend of Leafy, when he uploaded a soon-to-be-deleted video titled The Leafy Rant.
Leafy made a video about a guy like he usually does, calling him a fucking asshole, cringy, weirdo, you know, whatever. It turns out that this guy is actually autistic.
While there is some truth to H3H3's claims, like how Leafy aggressively clickbaits his videos, and how his content slowly transitioned from going after those deserving of criticism to those more vulnerable to criticism like children.
Here's making fun of a kid. Here's making fun of a kid. Here's making fun of a kid. Kid.
As H3H3 states himself, there is some hypocrisy in him calling out Leafy, as in the past, H3H3 has made similar videos, which is something Leafy discussed further in his H3H3 rant posted after an apology video about Tommy NC.
So first off, before I say anything, I just want to say, guys, I fucked up. But regardless, I would like to say sorry to everybody I offended, all my fans I disappointed, and of course, Tommy.
Leafy's H3H3 rant showed the more toxic and hypocritical side of H3H3.
All he does is make fun of kids?
Okay. Ethan, you sure you want to make this point?
Clean cut. I wouldn't exactly call it clean cut. He's got the hair of a fucking 6-year-old dude with a goddamn shitty toupee.
This butting of heads, in a way, split the portion of the audience.
I wonder what the tone of those videos were, because like we talked before, where the Tosh.0 thing was more okay, partially because it seemed to be less antagonistic, I guess would be the name. Also, there was like less of a toxic audience, but it seemed to be like less antagonistic. So how antagonistic was with Ethan's video? You know what I'm saying? I guess that would be a question I would ask there. Yeah. Dude, these kids are stealing my kills. I'm gonna start shitting in my pants.
That they shared because through and through, they were both in the commentary community talking about strange figures or videos on the internet. As for how Leafy's channel was affected, it wasn't. He still kept making the same videos that the YouTube algorithm shot out and viewers scooped up. This was helped when H3H3 later admitted that he messed up when he called out Leafy and said that he regretted making that video altogether, which helped mend their friendship.
That's interesting. I wonder why. Like, I wonder if there was if like the audience, the negative interaction from the audience had a part to play. Because I mean, I've been there where you'll make a video that you believe in, and then people will just be super toxic about it, and then they'll intentionally misrepresent the video, because a lot of people are just looking for a content creator to double down on their confirmation bias. So I wonder if he actually meant it, because you know, making content that makes fun of kids isn't the same across the board. Like if you make, you know, you can make light fun of people, and then you can make heavy fun of people. So there's a bit of a difference. So I wonder if he actually took it back. Oh shit.
But before that happened, another of Leafy's targets, namely Wet Movie 1, called out Leafy for cyberbullying.
This guy looks like he just went through 5 different strokes in the past fucking hour.
As Wet Movie 1 claims, he was placed in special education classes in high school and was considered overweight, leading to much bullying.
No, we're not.
And now, even after he lost all that weight, he was now getting cyberbullied by Leafy.
Just, you know, making fun of me and shit for the way I look and things.
This video, along with foreshadowing Leafy's future, gained much sympathy from those that detested Leafy, as he pointed out how Leafy focuses largely on criticizing someone's physical attributes rather than their actions, which is overall, for anyone, considered extremely lowbrow, which brings up an interesting aspect of Leafy's success on YouTube.
Bro. Holy fuck.
Initially, when he started criticizing channels, he went after their actions and focused almost purely in the controversies that surrounded them. But as time went on, and he started to milk this format by uploading nearly every day, he was potentially running out of targets and had to find easy targets without any controversy initially surrounding them. Sometimes, Leafy created this controversy. So with these relatively unknown figures that did not have a large following, Leafy chose the easiest route, which was personal attacks. This is also when his channel saw the most growth, with each upload getting millions of views. Along with...
Isn't it sad what it says about people where, like, content creators who... It's so funny, because I understand blaming the content creators, but there's an audience of people who love just super toxic content, and we don't talk about it like that, you know what I mean? It's really fucked up. It's just really fucked up.
Getting 500,000 subscribers monthly. But there was still a bit of a rocky path to walk when Leafy had to deal with complications like getting his channel hacked by Poodle Corp, which almost seems that its entire purpose was to promote a Twitter account that is now largely inactive. Though Leafy got his channel back from the hackers, every one of Leafy's videos was still changed to the same title, directing viewers to go follow the hackers on Twitter. So he had to manually change every single one of his titles back to their original state. But the problem was that Leafy's titles were so ambiguous and clickbait that he couldn't remember the names for many of his videos.
Oh my
so
God.
After the hack, many of his videos went under different titles. Even a hack couldn't stop Leafy's toxicity in his content, which he was very open about. His acceptance of this allowed him to carry knives of incorrigible opinions that, though other channels wielded them, Leafy did it more openly and obviously to the most vulnerable. It was a growing black hole of drama that reached far across YouTube and worked in his favor. And sometimes, well, most of the time, Leafy's attacks against controversial figures were supported, few receiving as much support as his rant towards his ex-friend, Keemstar, who was now under a lot of fire due to iDubbbz releasing a content cop video on him, where iDubbbz dissects the many deplorable things Keemstar has done. This situation for Keemstar was not unlike the controversies Leafy had experienced, except in one regard, it was much worse. The thing about iDubbbz's videos is they gained almost universal support, and there was no splitting of a commentary community like what happened with Leafy and H3H3. It was the people against Keemstar in a massive campaign trying to get Keemstar's competition, Scares, to grow in size. Leafy claims that he was frustrated at Keemstar because he allegedly insulted him behind his back and treated him poorly as a friend. But what many people believe is it was a business decision to distance himself from Keemstar and make himself look better in the process. So Leafy released the first of 5 videos ranting on about Keemstar, with Leafy progressively getting angrier through his rants. Like iDubbbz's videos and the many other videos attacking Keemstar, Leafy's videos still received massive support. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Sometimes you can just take the middleman out and have your friend as your enemy, which is the case with Leafy and YouTube. The platform that gave him his success was now tearing him down in his prime, with many people supporting him. As seen on Social Blade, he was losing massive amounts of views during August of 2016, which was a month after he made the first Keemstar rant and almost a month after YouTube updated their terms of service where they pledged to crack down on bullying and harassment.
You know, it's interesting though, it looked like... So here's the thing, when I looked at that chart, it looked like his views were going back down to a similar amount from what his views used to be. And it didn't seem like it was a very long period of time where he had high views. I don't really like the way people frame shit like that, because it's very normal for YouTube for you to hit like a surge of views and then to go back down, and then to hit a surge of views and then to go back down. So it's a very weird... It's just so weird. People are, your views are down. It's annoying fundamentally, because they don't understand how YouTube works. Like, there's usually, depending on the type of content creator, you'll usually have, like, I understand why more entertainment type content creators, like let's play people and whatnot, would maintain consistent views. But when you have somebody who's generally a commentator, and I'm not agreeing with Leafy, but if you have somebody who's generally a content creator who does commentary, it's too many C's, then of course, when there's something that's not as popular in the media at the point, or to talk about at a certain point, you're going to see like a reduction in the views. Of course, it's just the way that it works. So it's kind of weird. I don't know. I'm just saying, because it happens to me. Like, I'll have my ups and downs, and then usually like my downs will be higher than my normal. Like, you'll have your maintenance period, then you'll have your ups, and then your downs, of course. But like every time I come out of a particular thing, like my views are generally more up on my static level, like my down level. So it's like, that's just normal, dude. It's just like
these new policies allow them to take a more firm stance on content like Leafy's. But to be clear, let me explain my earlier statement. Leafy was losing views. No, it was not that Leafy was losing the potential of gaining more views by being recommended less. He was, in a literal sense, losing his total accumulated views because YouTube was striking and removing his videos,
goes another aspect,
putting him, in countless times, close to getting banned. Because on YouTube, after you get your first community guideline strike, 3 more means channel termination. So in reality, Leafy was still getting the same amount of views. It was just that YouTube was removing his videos at such a high rate that it gave him negative views, making it seem like he was losing popularity. That was until a month later that iDubbbz, the same content creator that made the content cop on Keemstar, released a content cop on Leafy.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Content Cop. As you can probably tell, I can hardly contain myself right now, because today is the day we get to bully Leafy.
This was a video going through, in a very detailed fashion, how many of Leafy's arguments in his videos are flawed, and how often he uses the word literally and always seems to pronounce it like this.
Literally.
Beyond that, there were two crucial parts of this video that made Leafy's fall from grace nearly unrecoverable. First was the large section devoted to trying to find Leafy's chin. Because just as Leafy makes fun of others' inherent attributes, iDubbbz was doing the same thing to show Leafy that he's just as vulnerable as the people he criticizes.
It seemed like a lot of people were eager to hide that disgusting chin.
Second was because of these 5 seconds of footage. If you didn't catch that, for those few seconds in iDubbbz's video, that was a cameo from H3H3 Productions, the same content creator that uploaded the first big Leafy rant, but made up with him and was supposed to be on friendly terms with Leafy.
I can kind of I'm starting to understand why people don't like Ethan. Not because he's right or wrong for supporting different content creators, but more because it seems like he flops based on whatever he feels is safe. That's just what, because I've noticed, I've watched his stuff, and it seems like he kind of flips based on where, and that's the thing, and nobody really seems to be able to articulate that. It's like, it's not what his opinions are, it seems like he flops based on like what he feels the socially palatable argument would be. That's kind of what it seems more than anything else. Like, he doesn't really have a backbone. Okay, I mean, I guess that makes sense. I still don't think he's a terrible person, but...
His sudden collaboration with iDubbbz, even if it was for mere seconds, fueled Leafy's rage. And one of the worst things you can do when making a response video is not keeping a level head. So 3 days later, Leafy released the iDubbbz Content Cop response, a nearly 22-minute long video addressing few of iDubbbz's points well.
Today I got exposed.
But what overshadowed his points were these skits that were akin to the videos of people he'd make fun of.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? He stole it!
Leafy's response showed that he played right into iDubbbz's hand by even mentioning that iDubbbz talked about his chin, leaving Leafy to play into an emotional, rather than logical, response. iDubbbz then made another video responding to Leafy, making fun of his chin yet again.
And it seems like you're still quite a bit bent out of shape about the whole no chin thing. No chin. This look right here I'm calling Gode's Winter.
Where's the cyberbullying?
Where's the cyberbullying? Don't pretend like you didn't watch. There was 20 minutes of it.
Just as Leafy had done to as many subjects, iDubbbz was doing to him. As some would say, Leafy's response towards iDubbbz was weak, like his chin.
That one there was a violation.
And just as many did to Keemstar when a content cop was made on him, including Leafy, there were an extreme amount of videos discussing or exposing Leafy for things as small as not crediting one of his editors to having channels within the millions of subscriber range tear Leafy apart. At this point in time, it was cool to hate Leafy, so now many people were doing it. Even Keemstar was in on the action. But no matter how much hate Leafy got, he kept throwing out the exact same videos for a simple reason. They worked, and they still got views. Even if the dislikes outnumbered the likes and all that was visible were negative comments, the truth is, Leafy was still making a hefty profit. That was until February 2017, the beginning of the adpocalypse and this horrid symbol. Essentially, if you had this attached to your video, it meant that you couldn't make money from it. And Leafy, like any YouTuber, likes money. But with his style of videos, even the ones he was trying to experiment ever so slightly with were massively getting this symbol, or to be properly descriptive, getting demonetized.
You know what's really interesting is that, because I know I wasn't on the YouTube with the adpocalypse, but it's interesting because nowadays, even if you get that yellow symbol and you get like reduction in monetization, it doesn't mean that you won't be able to make money from your content. Oh, it's not. So,
a few other downers of 2017 were that his nudes were leaked because someone hacked his Snapchat. And now, he was finally seeing a sizable decline in views, no longer reaching over 1 million with each upload, but now hitting the hundreds of thousands per video instead, which is still quite decent considering the quality and the repetitiveness of Leafy's content. As for his upload schedule, Leafy now uploaded only a few times per week, if at all. Following this downward trend, he made it all the way to December of 2017, over a year after the content cop on him was released. And then, nothing. All there was radio silence. Leafy did show up a few times in places like Drama Alert as he mended his friendship with Keemstar.
All this stuff is not real. You put that in your video to make me look as bad as possible. You fucking lied about me.
I didn't fucking lie about
people. Yes,
no,
your
no,
video
I did not
is
fucking
a lie.
Besides those few check-ins, it was largely accepted that Leafy left the internet after being exhausted with YouTube constantly adding new rules that affected either their monetization or his ability to upload. This seemed to be the end of Leafy, with many remembering his presence online.
What was the apocalypse? Oh yeah, so basically, my understanding is that there was a song with the there was a very racist song going around, and it had a Burger King ad on it. So brands started to melt down, and they pulled all their shit. And YouTube had to like fucking try to get all their shit back, and it ended up like demonetizing a bunch of channels, etc., etc. I am very inactive in this game, bro. I started off doing well, made a couple of mistakes. I do feel like this guy's a coward. And now, I'm not doing great.
As a relic of the older Wild West of YouTube, where many forms of controversial content existed and was seemingly promoted by YouTube. Months and months went by with dwindling hope that he would ever return, especially in such an unwelcoming landscape. That was until
he returned.
Hello everyone. My girlfriend started an OnlyFans account. I think all of it is cool. Yeah. I know, iDubbbz is a simp. I suggest you go idolize someone else. Someone who isn't a simp or a cock.
Over 2 years later in March...
I mean, I never, I wasn't really into commentary at that point. And it's like, it's fine. Listen, your girlfriend does OnlyFans, that's fine. But, it's... Mine wouldn't. I'm gonna fucking destroy this kid. I'm gonna fuck you in the ass, bro. For fucking killing me every goddamn single second.
March of 2020.
Are you kidding me?
The internet called upon him once more. Leafy answering the call by making a statement of his return with this 30-second long video simply titled iDubbbz.
For those of you who are unaware of the drama I recently brought upon myself, I'll fill you in. My girlfriend started an OnlyFans account. Yeah, I know,
Dude, you're a fucking cuck.
Those few words, in a way, undid the pressure iDubbbz's content cop left on his channel. It took a little over 2 years, but Leafy made a short and effective response against iDubbbz that his and a portion of iDubbbz's audience overwhelmingly supported enough to blow this video past 1 million views in a matter of days and get him trending on Twitter. This video was followed by another, longer video that included more interactions between iDubbbz and his girlfriend. It also had Twitter posts that showed his girlfriend flirting with other content creators.
They're not dating anymore? Is that what you're saying?
Presumably before she met iDubbbz. This situation all happening because iDubbbz's girlfriend decided to start an OnlyFans which had split reactions. Many shunned iDubbbz and called him a cuck, but there were still content creators on iDubbbz's side of the ring. The most important of them all, or at least the one that Leafy hated the most, was still H3H3, the first large content creator who called him out. That was Leafy's next target, as he uploaded a video of H3H3 discussing him.
People saying, oh, Leafy, come back. I would love to see Leafy come back and try to exist in the landscape today. You can't even curse, bro.
You're a fat, fucking disgusting piece of shit.
This is the biggest takeaway from that video, as it propelled Leafy to continue making more videos. Every day that Leafy remained and grew on the platform was a victory for Leafy and a loss for H3H3. With each upload of Leafy's new content, he was spitting in Ethan's face. As for his new content, it consisted a lot more of the footage of the video he was discussing with few comments. He was also more tonally calm and rational as he was playing less of a character.
I mean, he just called Ethan like a fat fuck. I don't think he's really being tonally calm, but I mean, maybe tone calm, sure, but not rational.
Along with this, he was not uploading daily, but instead whenever he felt like it. Which means he wouldn't go back into the cycle of running out of things to talk about and target smaller drama or creators because his well of topics would run dry. It seemingly reverted to a late 2015 version of his channel where he talked about the many popular current events on YouTube and mostly discussed channels that were of similar or larger size than his. Things were looking pretty good for Leafy, as month after month he uploaded 1 to 5 videos a week and saw decent growth to his platform. At this point, it was apparent that his 2 years on a hiatus only improved his content, with people loving his sometimes unpopular but unique takes on popular subjects. It's safe to say that Leafy was back, and he came back strong, exploring beyond his traditional targets and finding new ones, but none were as frequently discussed on his channel as Pokimane, a popular female Twitch streamer that, like many content creators, had a few controversial aspects of her background. Some of those few controversies included her takedown of videos that many say she took down in an unfair fashion.
Well, I think people were really upset with it. It was like some ridiculous thing where she basically tried to hide that she had a boyfriend so that people would donate more money to her, which is like, whatever. It's just kind of silly.
though some videos that she took down were not in fair use, as people were uploading her popular stream clips of the month without adding anything transformative to them.
People have made videos about her and she's copyright strike them, the list goes on and on. If you make a video that is negative about her, she's gonna try to gun you.
And I had spoken to my MCN and I was like, is this something that I can take down? Because like...
But the biggest part that Leafy harped on is her rumored secret boyfriend.
Oh yeah, and then she also was she trying to censor people's videos? Was that another thing too? So much shit going on.
3 subs. She has a boyfriend. Let me say that one more time. Dude, she has a boyfriend and you're fucking pathetic.
The reason this mattered so much in his and many others' eyes is that Pokimane has a large male following.
I mean, it is true though. I mean, like, listen, if people finding out that you have a boyfriend reduces your following base, that's your fucking problem.
And a smaller section of those people have skewed worldviews where they believe that donating large sums of money or becoming a higher tier subscriber, which costs a fair amount of money a month, that they will...
$25 a month. I mean, I guess if you watch a content creator consistently, $25 isn't that bad, but like, you know, it is a lot. Just give me your free Prime sub, guys. That's all I want. Now. Do it now. All right? I see people in the chat that say Prime Gaming, and you haven't given me your Prime sub, dude. What the fuck are you doing with your life, you piece of shit? I'm just kidding. You do what you want, but...
will eventually have a pathway to contact her and may end up dating her in the process. Not that many people sympathize with this part of her audience, as their views are extremely unrealistic and difficult to support. But on the other hand, if Pokimane did have a secret boyfriend, she was knowingly profiting off her perceived availability.
True.
Which is the exact
That's a good
same
point.
reason many K-pop stars can't date or at least don't date publicly. There is a very profitable business.
Yeah, it's so crazy with this whole parasocial relationship shit where a lot of celebrities aren't allowed to date people just because it would make them seem less available. It's fucking crazy.
And selling the idea that you might...
Like, they really got people boiled down to their psychology. It's crazy how much advertisements work. Like, just minor things have a massive, like, perception aspect, you know?
One day date a superstar. So just as iDubbbz once did to Leafy, Leafy made a series of content nuke videos criticizing Pokimane for the aforementioned reasons. The content nuke spanning around 4 videos. The first video, according to Leafy's recollection, made it to number 8 on YouTube trending under the category of gaming. That was before it was age restricted, then taken off trending, which he appealed for, then it was brought back up on trending again, then it was age restricted again, which means it was taken off of trending once more. The reason for this back and forth was the large amount of pushback, mostly from the Twitch community that knew and defended Pokimane, making decent points of their own, in which Leafy
a bunch of simps is what you're saying.
included in his later content nukes on Pokimane.
But yeah, like Leafy literally already got bullied off the internet once.
This drama brought back a taste of 2016 Leafy.
Hey, Destiny simp, dude.
As the more drama he caused, brought more people back to his channel, causing enough drama for his line.
There's a Hassan simp there too, dude.
Merchandise to almost immediately sell out.
Man, everything is just going so good right now. This is what being lucky is, dude.
And as the series progressed, each edition was considerably less serious. Not only because Leafy was trending on Twitter again under the guise of being Pokimane's secret boyfriend.
Pokimane boyfriend started trending worldwide, which is pretty sick.
But also because people were speedrunning getting banned on Pokimane's Discord server for being affiliated with Leafy in any way. Leafy endorsing this by launching a $500 contest to see who could get banned the fastest. The peak of the situation, and no doubt, was Pokimane announcing her month-long break from streaming starting early August of 2020, which many people perceived it to be influenced by Leafy. Though Pokimane
She took a bit. Okay, I'm just reading this.
claims that it was because the pandemic was affecting her mental health. Then 13 days later, she apologized for many things mentioned in Leafy's videos, and while she did address Leafy in her video, it was largely covering all of her controversies and it was not meant to purely address Leafy. But the most important part of this video that Leafy later discussed was Pokimane states that she is not transparent about her relationship status because it's something that belongs in her private life. So even something as small as the potential of her having a boyfriend strengthened Leafy's claims about her. It should be mentioned that
it's so interesting though because, you know, it's a reasonable argument to say I want to separate my personal life from my professional life. But also knowing the kind of work that she does, I mean, she knows that her availability will have an impact on how much money she makes. So there is like a bit of a level of manipulation there.
That Leafy made 10 plus Pokimane videos almost one after another. Well, at least that's how it seems on the surface. But in reality, the non-content nuke Pokimane videos had almost nothing to do with her at all. They were just clickbait used to talk about other things, including the stock market, gambling, the reason he hates politics, how to bargain with an editor, and which content creators he was interacting with. But with him causing Pokimane to constantly trend on Twitter in what seemed to be a relentless campaign that caused a Twitch streamer to quit momentarily,
Yeah, Pogi flirts people constantly. Yeah, she knows what she's doing, yeah.
Bad public relations for his worst enemy that has been gunning to take his channel down for a very long time. In the morning of August 20th, 2020, those wanting to revisit Leafy's videos could only watch them through re-uploads, as his channel was banned from YouTube. Pokimane immediately stated that she had nothing to do with it, and some content creators rejoicing that action was taken on Leafy's channel. But this unveiled a unfun president of YouTube, and that is how YouTube, overnight, deleted Leafy's channel without warning for potentially breaking the rules against harassment and bullying. Typically, when you are making content that you shouldn't, YouTube will take down a video and give you a community guideline strike so you understand not to make that content again. If you get 3 strikes, like in baseball, then you're out. But in Leafy,
well, what they would say is that we removed like 3 videos in a row, so it instantly triggered your shit.
In his case, all 3 balls were thrown to the pitcher's plate while he was sleeping and gave him no chance to redeem himself, which is something many content creators saw wrong in. Not to mention that many of Leafy's Pokimane videos had very little to do with her. Following this ban, he was also banned on Twitch and Twitter. His strongest presence on social media is Instagram. As any attempt to come back to YouTube, even his covert accounts that he only uses to keep track of his subscriptions get banned almost immediately.
Really?
The story of Leafy's downfall was a strange one because it was not due to lack of interest and viewers slowly dropping off. It was due to too much interest. He was just too good at his job. And while the narrative remains that he did much harm to the YouTube channels he covered in the past, many benefited from his videos and milked their
YouTube really simped for fucking Pokimane, huh?
attachment to Leafy. There's still a strange irony about how the sensationalism that brought him up was the thing that inspired his downfall. Leafy is now a fossil that has no hope of returning through YouTube. There is no hope for a comeback, a return, or another rise. Just the terrifying reminder that YouTube can strike down any channel and leave nothing but archive videos hinting at something larger. A fate that through Leafy can now happen to anyone. Leafy, like a leaf in autumn, has fallen and gone with the wind.
Okay. So the only criticism I have of this video is that based on the way that they presented it, he didn't deserve to be banned. But it's quite possible that his content was much more bullyish in nature than possible, right? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, because based on this, Leafy barely did anything wrong, but I've heard much worse from Leafy, so I feel like maybe this isn't the best representation of the intensity at which he, you know, like YouTube crimes he committed. Yeah, it's a very positive framing of Leafy. I remember barely watching a while ago. I was on YouTube and I watched some of the Leafy shit and I was just like bored. I didn't give a shit. Just old stuff, yeah. So his old stuff was really bad, which sounds, well, a lot of people's old stuff's really bad. You know, he went too far sometimes. I guess the question would be, is that did his new stuff go too far? With Pokimane, did it go too far? Because it seems like, based on the framing of this video, which could be an incorrect framing, that he really wasn't that bad. Pokimane just didn't like it. People didn't like that he was bullying their goddess. So, I don't know. You know, I don't give a shit about Leafy. I'm just curious, because obviously that wouldn't be a great thing if they were just banning somebody for talking about a particular content creator.